All right, this is going to be another reading for Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius who's listening today, I'm seeing that this reading may either have to do with a project that you're working on or with a relationship. Um, for others of you, it could be something different, but that's what I'm seeing here today. And this reading really has to do with going to the next step or going to the next level with whatever this is. And I see you really considering that with the Seven of Pentacles in the overall energy. Seven is also a lucky card, and this could have to do with the month of July for some of you. For others of you, this is just showing that you're kind of reflecting on where you've been in the past and what could be coming up in the future. And with the Knight of Wands, the Magician, and the Eight of Pentacles, it's like your gut is telling you to move forward and to manifest the next step and to really work on whatever this is. So if this is a relationship, your gut is telling you to just go for it and to move forward on this with a level of excitement and passion. And it's kind of where your heart is at, it's where your energy is at. But then I do see you kind of pulling back and wanting to evaluate. For others of you, this could be a project, and you're kind of looking at everything that you've accomplished so far in this project and what it would take to move forward, if you're making the right decisions, that kind of thing. And either way, you're feeling like it's time to move forward on this. If you were to stop thinking about it, possibly you would just kind of charge ahead and go for it. But there are some things that I see you kind of thinking about, and we'll dive into that in the tarot. Now, in the recent past, we have the Six of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, the Four of Wands. So whatever this is, there could be this feeling of maybe it was difficult to achieve stability with this in the past, or maybe you wondered if you were really getting as much out of this as you were giving, if it was really worth your time and effort, and if it was really going to lead to something stable. So if this is a relationship for some of you, you could have been wondering, is this actually going anywhere? For others of you, if this is a career or a project type of thing, you're wondering, is everything really going as planned? Am I doing enough? Are the other people involved doing enough? Are we going to reach success with this? And because it looks like you were kind of focusing on the give and take in this project, you may not have been seeing its full potential with the Four of Wands here, or like what it could fully shape up to be, or what it was already shaping up to be. We're going to clarify these cards as we move forward, but that's what I'm seeing kind of in the beginning here. Now, in the current energy, I see that you could be feeling a little bit tired of this in some way with the Nine of Wands. With the Ace of Pentacles and the Empress, there's a feeling of, is this giving me everything that I deserve? Is this matching my frequency? Is this worth my time and effort? And it could be a little bit exhausting for you. It could feel like you've been through a lot with whatever this is, and you're wanting something that's going to really fully show up on your level and meet you where you're at and take your energy to the next level as well. And you're coming up very strong here as the Empress, kind of knowing your full worth. Maybe in the past you struggled with self-worth issues, or you're aware that it was challenging for you to find people or opportunities that really validated your worth, or what's the phrase that I'm looking for? Really made you feel as valuable and important as you are. Just something that kind of showed up on your level. But in the near future, with the Ten of Pentacles, the Four of Swords, and the Page of Cups, I'm seeing that ultimately this is going to reach its culmination point, or you're going to find success with this. The Ten of Pentacles is really about established foundations, wealth in the material world, tangible results, completing a project, reaching sort of an end goal. And it's enough that with the Four of Swords and the Page of Cups, you're going to feel like you can finally rest. You're going to feel like all this effort that maybe you put into this, or all the hardship that kind of went along with this, it was worth it, or you didn't need to stress about it. And at some point in the near future, I see you kind of being able to really relax around this and feel a lot more fulfilled with this in a certain way. It's going to bring you a sense of relief, or a sense of restoration, or relaxation, or triumph, like I did this and now I can finally kind of lay my burdens down. And speaking of burdens, the oracle cards that I pulled today for this reading are the burden, rebirth, letting go, with intensity at the bottom of the deck. So what that tells me is that you're kind of at this point right now where in order to move forward into the next step, you're going to have to release whatever burdens this may have carried in the past, or whatever burdens maybe you've been bringing into this. So if you're in a relationship, maybe you went through some hardship in past relationships, and at this point you're at a place of needing to kind of leave behind the hardships that you went through in those past relationships in order to move forward. If this is a project, maybe you got rejected from multiple similar opportunities, and at this point you're going to have to kind of leave behind that feeling of rejection so that you can fully allow the blessings of this to come towards you. But doing that may feel very intense for you. It may feel very scary. For others of you, there just may be certain things in your life that aren't serving you at this point that you're going to have to let go of. For many of you, that could be something like a job that you've been very comfortable at, but it's not challenging you, or it's not giving you everything that you deserve. And in order for you to move to the next step in your life or move to the next level, you're going to have to release whatever that is, and it comes through as kind of a burden. However, that may be really intense for you to let go whatever this is, because this could be something that made you really comfortable, or it seems to meet your needs on the surface. It could be kind of, the daily humdrum, everyday sort of status quo that you become comfortable with, and just letting go whatever these things are could feel really intense. It could feel like you're a snake molting and shedding a skin, and that skin feels really intense to let go of. Even if you are excited about this letting go process, or you're in tune with it, you're aligned with it, it could just feel uncomfortable on some level, and that's okay, because it's just a part of change. But whatever this is, it does seem like a pretty intense process, and it seems like something that's not just happening overnight, but it has to do with the energy that you've already put towards something and where you're at in the process of moving through that energy and moving into a different energy. So at this point, we're just going to dive into the tarot, and I'm going to clarify these cards. But before I do, don't forget to like and subscribe if this reading is resonating with you. I really enjoy having you guys here, listening to the readings, participating, and the more energy that you lend to the readings, the more I'm able to co-create with your energy to manifest these readings. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, I do offer them. My email is below in the description box, and you can email me there. But let's go ahead with the tarot for now, and we're going to dive into the recent past. I want to see kind of what was going on there for you in the past with the Six of Pentacles. This could have had to do with give and take with something or someone else. There could have been another energy involved with the Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and something to do with how you were working together, or how this was coming towards you, and sort of like an exchange of energies here. Let's take a look at the Six of Pentacles. Strength, the World's Judgment. Leo could be significant here with the Strength card and the Six of Wands at the bottom of the deck, or just August or Leo season. It's looking like you kind of decided you needed to stop collaborating with this other energy, or maybe this other energy decided that they need to stop collaborating with you. Either way, it looks like maybe you went in separate directions. This may have been a bit of a difficult decision to make. There also may have been a certain pattern that was being established here between the two of you, that someone decided, it's time for us to close this cycle and close this pattern. And it might have taken quite a bit of willpower with the Strength card, or not willpower, maybe willpower. Maybe this has to do with driving, or I don't know, but I meant to say willpower. So this could have taken a certain level of self-discipline in order to close this cycle and kind of change some behavior, and it comes through as a bit of a difficult experience. Let's take a look at the perception of this. It could have felt like a loss for some of you, but you may just not have been seeing that clearly, or there could have been a feeling of betrayal. I'm hearing deception, a feeling of I thought I could trust this, but I couldn't. And that could have shaken your sense of stability, or this could have been something or someone that you really relied on. And with the Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck, it's looking like you're pretty disappointed that this didn't show up for you the way that you were expecting it to, or that you just couldn't rely on it anymore. It could have felt like a real, not just a betrayal, but the sense of loss that comes with betrayal of like, wow, I really thought I could trust this. I really thought I could lean on this. And maybe there is a feeling of not knowing what to do next, or not knowing if everything was going to be okay. With that Five of Swords, Page of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, the Chariot. Yeah, when it came to kind of your next steps and, can I trust in general? Can I open my heart to people? And how you were going to do that along your path? Can I trust people to help me along my path? That feeling could have been kind of shaken for you, or kind of destabilized, because you thought that whatever this was going to be there for you along your path, and then maybe it wasn't, and that could have just been very upsetting for you. It may have felt very lonely with the Hermit at the bottom of the deck. It may have been kind of triggering with the Knight of Wands at the bottom of the deck, and just kind of felt like, wow, okay, suddenly I'm all alone. And it could have activated, abandonment wounds, or just some really intense feelings within you that were kind of difficult for you. Let's take a look at the Four of Wands. Seven of Pentacles, the Tower, the Five of Wands. When it came to your sense of stability and accomplishment and success, you could have envisioned having that success or stability with this other energy, or maybe it felt like your success and stability were contingent or dependent on this other energy, and when that came crashing down and suddenly you couldn't rely on whatever this was, it really made you reconsider, do I have what it takes, or am I going to be able to pull this off, or even just am I going to be able to feel stable and supported on a basic level, because this could have made you feel very lonely, or just like you didn't have anyone or anything to depend on, or it could have just kind of been a fork in the road in your path that ended up kind of making you rely on yourself a little bit more, or something like that. It comes through as a pretty difficult change for you, and one that may have affected your sense of security and stability. For some of you, this could have been on a more material level, like with your income or your home or something like that. For others of you, this was more just like an energy that you were feeling. Let's take a look. In the current energy, I'm seeing that you look pretty tired of maybe feeling like you have to do everything alone, or feeling like you're not supported, or like you have to be self-reliant in some way. Let's take a look at that with the Nine of Wands. The Empress keeps coming out. So Spirit's kind of saying that like you got this, even though emotionally or energetically you could be feeling really tired or really exhausted. It's like at the end of the day, you're kind of like that bitch, if that makes sense. Like you still got this in the bag, but with the Five of Swords popping out there, you may just not see it that way, or you may be a little bit more focused on how much everything's gone wrong for you rather than on how capable you are. I'm also hearing beautiful for some of you. Beauty could have to do with whatever this is, or Spirit could just want to be reminding you that you're very beautiful. Let's take a look at that Nine of Wands. Five of Pentacles, Temperance, Nine of Swords. Yeah, so you're showing me it's been pretty hard for a while. I've been struggling for a long time. It hasn't been easy. For many of you, this could have to do directly with your finances. But again, you're just showing me this feeling of lack of abundance, or lack of having your needs met, or just plain struggle with whatever this is. And it's just something that has been affecting you for a long time, and it could be affecting your mental health with the Nine of Swords. There could be times where you really spiral about this, or it keeps you up at night. It affects your sleeping habits. It's very hard for you to kind of self-regulate. I'm seeing like it could be very difficult for you to just calm down and ground yourself and center, and that could just be kind of exhausting for you over time, because you're never really able to just feel okay. It comes through as a pretty difficult energy. And this could have to do with self love with the Empress here. It could just be very hard for you to speak kindly to yourself or to provide that inner sense of stability. There could be a part of you that's looking outside of yourself for stability or security, and it's just been kind of difficult for you to come back to yourself and find that stability from within. But actually, what this moment could be teaching you is how to offer that to yourself, or just this struggle is kind of highlighting that you could be more loving to yourself. You could need to focus more on building that sense of self-love. And when I say self-love, I don't just mean like in general you like yourself or maybe that you do self-care things, but on a more holistic, big picture level, it's like you fully are integrated with how to take care of yourself, with having a positive self view, with what it means all the time to put yourself first and be sort of your first and most important person. There could be a part of you that puts other people first or just relies on other people in a way that really you should be prioritizing yourself. Let's take a look at the Empress here, which is your energy. There's this feeling that you're actually doing quite well for yourself with the Four of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. You could have built quite a bit for yourself in the material world, like maybe you have a really thriving community or you have a really thriving business or you've really built up a beautiful home space for yourself that feels really lovely and you feel really comfortable in it and really established and other people feel comfortable coming over and you have a lot of good friendships, but for some reason you may not be giving yourself the credit or really seeing with the Seven of Swords how much you have accomplished, and there's a feeling of needing to give yourself more credit and understand how much you have kind of accomplished for yourself in this arena, and that really does reflect on you, that you're a very strong, powerful person, that you've even been able to do this. But for some reason, it's almost like it's never enough, or it never really reflects for you on how you see yourself. Like you're maybe like, yeah, like I did do all of that, but it kind of just happened, or that's just like part of being alive, and you may not really be seeing, or maybe you don't have others in your life who are even recognizing or validating that you really did build that for yourself and you really did put that together, and you have a lot of strengths here with the Four of Wands, a lot of things to be really proud of, and a lot of things that you've succeeded with that maybe weren't so easy, and you do have things that you can kind of pull out in the physical world. So maybe, like I said, maybe this has to do with your home and you built the house yourself over time, or maybe you cleaned it up and restored it, or you just decorated it a lot, or something like that, and you're like, yeah, but that's just having a house or something. And it's like, no, you put all your energy into that and you really succeeded, and it's a really beautiful space. That's just an example. It could be anything here. Could be building a family, it could be building a community, it could be some type of activist project or foundation, something that really has you coming out on top, and it accentuates your beautiful features. Like it accentuates the things that you're really good at or talented at, your strengths. And it's like for whatever reason, you're not really seeing that, or you're telling yourself it's not enough. I keep hearing that phrase, not enough. So like I said, you could be really hard on yourself and telling yourself you need to be more than you are. And Spirit's really saying that everything that you are is more than good enough. It's incredible. It benefits the people around you. It benefits the world. And you're a very important energy to have there. Let's take a look at the Seven of Swords for what you're not seeing there. It could be like because you don't have the validation of someone else with the Emperor at the bottom of the deck, or you don't have someone else coming in to tell you, how well you did, like it's hard for you to fully validate it. And I think that's the piece that Spirit kind of wants you to birth into the world, is this sense of self that is self-validating and leaving behind the burden of needing external validation, and like the feeling of depending, like having your feelings depend on how other people are perceiving you. Like that's the part of you that kind of needs to be rebirthed here. And they want you to prioritize kind of your own perspective and your own self-worth above anyone else coming in and telling you. Because once you have that inner strength and that inner self understanding, it doesn't really matter what anyone else tells you. And obviously, that's easier said than done, but they're just showing you that that's kind of the rebirth process that you're in right now of giving yourself that validation and having that understanding of yourself, regardless of what anyone else tells you. And so, even if, you're not, excuse me, winning the self-love lottery every single day or something, or succeeding at this all the time, they just want you to kind of be aware of the way that you speak to yourself and be aware that this is a journey that you're on of having to validate yourself rather than having someone else kind of validate or come in and validate what you're already experiencing within yourself. So trust your voice more. Let's take a look at the Ace of Pentacles here in the very center of your reading. Right as I said that, we had 3 cards just shoot out of the deck and into my hands, and we have the Ace of Cups, the 9 of Pentacles, the Hanged Man. So that's what we're really seeing here at the crux of the whole reading, is that it's about self-love and loving yourself in a very independent way, and finding a just like explosive sort of level of love for yourself that would really be a shift of perspective, but will also enable you to feel a lot stronger with the 9 of Pentacles. Just really like loving yourself in such a way that it feels like you have more than you need just being by yourself. And I'm also hearing that other people or other energies might slow you down. You may be giving power to other energies or thinking that they will support you or make you stronger when actually you're better off without them. And with the Hanged Man, it's almost like Spirit wants you to see how abundant you are by yourself and that you actually may be kind of better off on your own on your path, because whatever path you're on or whatever it is that you're experiencing, it's almost like it's something that you have to do by yourself. And even if you did have a lot of other people around you or a lot of other people supporting you, it's like it's something that you could only really experience fully within yourself. It's like a deeply personal experience. And the kind of engine to your chariot here that would kind of drive you forward is that love that you have for yourself and that complete trust and care that you have for yourself, because there's kind of 2 parts to this. The first part is understanding that you're meant to experience this within yourself to a certain extent, and then the second part is fully jumping into that experience and loving it and giving yourself the love, because you know that there's nothing wrong with being by yourself. So that's another thing. If you find yourself alone at certain points in your life or needing to rely on yourself, or it feels like other things are fading away or other energies that you depended on are fading away, it's actually for the better. It's actually because at that distinct moment, you're meant to be going along by yourself. So I'm getting full body goosebumps right now. So someone really needs to hear, especially if you've been kind of thinking about doing something by yourself, like maybe you want to travel alone or you want to start a business by yourself. There could be a part of you that is hesitant because you're like, well, what about working with other people? Or what about my friends? Or what about my partner? Or what about these other people in my life? And Spirit's really giving you a message here that you're actually meant to do this by yourself, because you have everything that it takes and you have the vision and you have the resources. And if other things have fallen out of your life or you've been shown that you can't depend on other people, it's because you're actually meant to do this independently, whatever this is. And the more energy that you spend worrying about those other energies or wondering why didn't it work out with them, or throwing yourself a bit of a pity party that you're all alone, the more you're kind of missing the point. And Spirit wants you to shift your perspective with the Hanged Man here and allow for this letting go and this rebirth and understanding that possibly the other energies involved were the burden. And you're actually going to be a lot lighter and a lot happier and a lot more successful, specifically if you just allow yourself to be by yourself and to kind of enjoy and appreciate your own energies. But in order for you to fully take advantage of being by yourself, you're going to have to shift your perspective and see this as an opportunity and really love and appreciate everything that you have to offer. And so even if you have to kind of write down, like, what are some qualities that you have that no one else has? Or what are some things that maybe you were looking for in other people that only you have? That's going to really help you shift your perspective, and it's going to make the birthing process easier. I'm literally seeing the image of a woman giving birth, but then when the baby kind of is born and comes out, it's just her at a younger age, or it's like a new version of her. And I see that very much being you. You're very much in this fertile place. And whether or not you're a man or a woman, or you identify with some other gender category, energy has no gender. So anyone can be in this very feminine, creative, fertile sort of space. They're really giving me the image of pregnancy, of fertility, of creation, and that really comes with the feminine energy. And part of stepping into your feminine energy right now is going to be fully owning your experience and fully owning what you have to offer the world. With the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck and then the Ace of Pentacles, you have something to offer, but it's something that can only come from your life force, right? And so just really embracing that and understanding that the gifts that you have to offer are yours alone. Whew, very powerful reading. Lots of goosebumps in my legs and my shoulders, which is always just confirmation for me that I'm on the right path. Now, in the near future, we have the Ten of Pentacles, the Four of Swords, the Page of Cups. So very quickly, you're going to see that this was all kind of worth it, that the pain of this process or the hardship or possibly the fact that it just took a really long time, all of it was kind of building up into something so that you could go from the Knight to the Queen and kind of reach the next level here. And I'm almost seeing that you may not even fully be aware of how everything that's happened so far had to happen in order for you to succeed. But once it all comes together, you're going to feel like so relaxed. You're going to feel so sort of relieved. You're going to feel like, wow, like all of that really did culminate in something. All of those experiences really did make a difference. I see why everything had to come together right now. And it's going to come together very powerfully for you. And this could have something to do with all these different relationships or connections that you've experienced even since you were a child, with the Page of Wands coming out here. It could feel like it took a really long time for you to find connections that worked for you, or just over and over again, it felt like the connections that were in your life were kind of moving really slowly or not at the pace that you were expecting. And you're going to kind of fully understand why all of that had to happen the way that it did once everything comes together. Let's take a look at the Four of Swords. I'm feeling this deep sense of peace as I shuffle the cards. Maybe it's felt like you were at the beginning of this journey for a really long time. It could have felt like, I'm just collecting my resources and putting them together over and over again. Or maybe you had to start over multiple times. Like maybe it felt like you built it up a little bit, or you got through a certain number of steps, or you made a certain amount of a certain level of progress, and then it all kind of came crashing down or something like that. And it's like you're no longer going to struggle with that. It's kind of going to be smooth sailing. Like everything's going to even out, and you're almost just going to, it's like if you're like rowing a boat and you're rowing a boat and you're rowing a boat and you're not really getting anywhere and you're getting tired and etc., etc. And then, the current just kind of moves your boat along to your destination, and you're just able to literally like lie down and rest. And so maybe it's felt like all of the efforts that you put into this didn't really make a difference, but you're actually going to see that they really did make a difference over time. And you're not going to have to work quite as hard. You're not going to have to keep starting over. You're not going to have to keep figuring out how to patch different things up. It's like everything here is just going to work out, and you're really truly just going to be able to rest in a way that maybe you haven't been able to rest. With the Four of Swords being here, the swords are about the mental energy, and so maybe it's like you've just had to try to mentally figure out how to patch something up or how to move forward, or how to pivot really quickly over and over again. And it's like all of a sudden everything's going to become clear to you, and you're not really going to have to put in so much work. It's going to feel like quite a relief in a certain way. Let's take a look at the Page of Cups. Because you're not going to be thinking as hard. You're not going to be expending as much effort. The Page of Cups kind of shows that you begin to have this realization about working by yourself or working with other people. And it's like once you get to this place of ease, it's going to be a lot easier for you to kind of figure out, okay, do I need to handle this alone? Or do I need to work with other people? And you're actually going to have the choice, because once the energy kind of smooths out and the river pulls you along on your path, it's going to be a lot less confusing for you about, can I trust these people? Can I not? Like all of that kind of pain and confusion is going to dissipate, but it's going to dissipate after you let go of the past and you kind of trust and you love yourself, and all these pieces kind of come together. Once the birthing fully happens, you're going to have your plethora of choices, in a sense of, okay, I could do this by myself or I could rely on other people, but either way I know that I'm going to be okay, if that makes sense. Before we close out the reading, let's just get 3 cards of advice from Spirit. And I'm feeling pulled to pull out another deck. So let's see. 3 cards of advice from Spirit, please. Spirit wants you to know that they're with you along this path. So if you ever feel alone, or you ever feel like, you get into that headspace of being anxious about being alone, or, not being stable enough by yourself, or what about the fact that I don't have other people around me, because you're on this path of understanding that maybe you're meant to do something more by yourself or experience something more by yourself. Whenever you start to feel that way, Spirit wants you to know that they are not only with you, but that they love you very much, and that they're almost like there to give you a hug. It's also a very feminine energy that comes through. So this could even be an ancestor of yours, like a mother, an aunt, a grandmother, a close friend, even a distant ancestor who you may not be consciously aware of, who has been watching over you along this path and is very much there to help you. It's almost like you're on this more spiritual journey that is really about your own independent path, and the people that are meant to help you, or the energies that are meant to help you as you embark quote unquote alone, are spiritual energies, and energies that you can turn to when you meditate or when you pray, that will be there with you every step of the way. And they want to affirm for you that they love you very much, and that you're doing a great job, and that they're always there for you. And it's an overflowing, very abundant, loving sort of energy that comes through there. So I hope this helps. I hope that it resonated, and I'll see you next time. Bye.